Hi, my name is Dina Falconi, herbalist, educator, and the author of Foraging and Feasting and Earthly Bodies and Heavenly Hair. And we are in the grandness of New York's fall. That's the autumn season. And what do we have here that makes a delectable salad? It is the native Lactuca canadensis, also called wild lettuce or tall lettuce. And we have it right here in Basal rosette. And it is in its first phase of its life. And this makes a perfect time for gathering these leaves. And we're going to get into detail about how to ID these leaves, but I just want you to be able to see this basal rosette of Lactuca canadensis of wild lettuce. You can see it radiates out from a center point. That's its basal rosette. It will grow a central stem here, and that's where the flower will emerge. I'll show you that in a moment. And also, I want you to see this. I'm going to pick one of these, actually, just so you know, this is delectable salad right here. These, and even these can make delicious salad. All of these, actually. These all look like tender, amazing, succulent salad. I want to pick it though, so here's another ID clue, and let's see, let's pick this one for you, and hoping it's going to show what I want, which is that it has this latex that actually bleeds out whenever you break a leaf or the main stem. So hoping you can see that white, slightly off-white latex. Here's a little bit of the latex drip on my fingernail. You can see that sticky, drying up. The latex is actually, did I say it was white? It's really pretty off-white as I'm looking at it. It's sort of a dusty with a pinch of peach in there. It's interesting. What do I want to tell you about wild lettuce, Lactuca canadensis, is that this has a hearty lettuce flavor that is slightly bitter. It is not the very bitter wild lettuce cousins that it has. So there are several species of Lactuca, and this particular one, Canadensis, is not so bitter from my experience. In this landscape here in the Northeast, here in New York at least, here on this land in this region, this Lactuca canadensis makes an excellent wild salad. So you can just chop it up, eat it raw, put a good vinaigrette on it. You can also cook it, make soup or sautés with it. Therapeutically, Lactucas are known for being soporific. That means that they're sleep inducers, that they're nervous system calmers. In the case of Lactuca canadensis, I want to say that it is not very soporific. It's actually a very nice, maybe you could say gently calming nervous system tonic, so that it's food for the nervous system, but it does not have the strong sleep-inducing or pain-relieving qualities of other Lactuca species. It does share some of that nerve food. So if you eat a salad of Lactuca canadensis, of this, which I do often, I don't get drowsy, but I do feel nice and relaxed. So just keep that in mind. Okay, I want to give you some ID clues beyond what we did with the basal rosette, so you're really hoping you can get this plant into your psyche. It's a complicated leaf, meaning the leaf variation is pretty extensive, and it makes it a little bit complicated to ID, but we're going to try to do it. Before we get there with that, I do also want to just share, where does this plant like to grow? This is a native of Eastern North America. It likes to grow in USDA zones 3 to 10. So you're going to find it distributed throughout the United States. Its range is pretty limited to the US as far as I could tell from researching it in world maps. What else to say about this? Okay, and so where does it like to grow? Part shade to full sun. In most soil types, it does prefer some fertility and some moisture, but that it's well drained. Other things to consider in terms of ID, where in the landscape, typically along the woodland edges, woodland clearings, areas where land is disturbed, so that it could be roads, paths, gardens, and also naturally occurring in fields. Okay, So let's get into the details of how you're going to properly identify this plant. You've got a little bit with the latex tip, a little bit in the basal rosette. Let's keep going. And here we have wild lettuce, Lactuca canadensis. This bloomed this past summer. So this is its dead flower stem, this whole stem, and I want to get into detail with you about this. So you saw that basal rosette up above, right? And then what happens is it sends up this flower stalk over the course of several weeks, and then you start, the leaves are alternating up the stem, and you get this yellow flower head. These yellow flowers that are composite-like flowers that are little yellow dandelion-like flowers, and they cover the whole stem here, but they're not actually blooming all at the same time. But so what's happening is this grows, and in some cases this can grow up to 10 feet, sometimes as low as 4 feet or so, so you get that range. So you have this is now a dead main stem with a dead flower arrangement, a dead flower head arrangement up here. But just so you know, right, this is also part of what you're looking for. So that basal rosette will not stay in basal form. If it's a wild lettuce, it will grow this main stalk, this main stem. So that's an important clue. If it doesn't grow one, then you do not have wild lettuce. That is in the summer. Let me just clarify, because this is about seasons as well. So what we saw up there is first year basal rosette, and then the following spring, it's going to send this up. And this can behave as an annual and also as a biennial. So its life cycle be completed within 1 year, and it can also take 2 years for it to complete its life cycle. And all of this, when it's young and tender, this main stem, the flowers, the flower buds, the aerial leaves, all of this, when tender, is also used as food. So you can put that right into the salad bowl, eat it raw, and you can cook it as well. It's important for you to see what happens here. So we've got a basal rosette with new leaves emerging that looks similar to the basal rosette we were just with up in the other area, but here is another leaf coming out of the basal rosette. It's a more mature one. This was growing in the warmer weather. Here we have wild lettuce leaf variations for you to see. We can see how the size varies considerably from this very long one to this small one, and they even get tinier. What else to show you? The leaf shape varies a lot. In this case though, these are very, I would say, oblanceolate. It's kind of like a lance, but the fatter part is in the upper part of the leaf. All of them have pointy tips, so hoping you can see the pointy tip. They, in this particular selection, they all have teeth as well. Sometimes they are entire with no teeth. Sometimes there's very little lobing. So there's a little bit of lobing happening as well as teeth. Sometimes though there is no lobing, but this one is super lobed. So you can see that it has these lobes. Serious lobing going on with teeth as well. So you can see irregular teeth on the margin. The main stem, this mid-vein, is usually hairy. So, and in our case here, it often has this kind of magenta in it. So that midline, that mid-vein is hairy. When I feel these, they give for me, they have a smooth, waxy feeling. They have this interesting waxy feeling, while not actually being entirely smooth, in fact, because they are hairy. They have some gentle hairs there. I'm going to flip over so you can see what the backside looks like, and this one as well. And there is this white bloom on the back of the leaves. The veining pattern is pinnate. So whoopsie, but there you have it. I mean, there's just so much variation to these Lactuca canadensis leaves that I just want you to see that, and I feel like you need to study it up so you really can ID this friend, because once you do, it is a tasty salad green that is with us a lot of the growing season. If you've enjoyed this and you'd like more, I invite you to check out my new online course, Wild Food Health Boosters and Herbal Remedies, at wildfoodhealthboosters.com. See you next time.